Welcome to the Brewing Wellness podcast, nourishing UFT members, one conversation at a time. Brewing Wellness is a podcast created by the UFT Member Assistance Program to support the mental health and well-being of our members. In order to do the work you do every day and be present for your loved ones, students, and patients, your cup has to be full. Brewing Wellness focuses on mental health and wellness topics that can help us all thrive in our professional and personal lives. We'll be releasing a new episode on the last Monday of each month. Remember to listen to the Brewing Wellness podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And please, don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's get started.
Hello and welcome back to the Brewing Wellness podcast, hosted by the UFT Member Assistance Program. My name is Isabel Santiago, and during the day, I'm an administrator for the MAP program, and at night, I do Muay Thai. Today, I'm joined by Cristina Santamaria, a Rumble instructor, physical therapist, and passionate advocate for movement as a form of healing. As we close out the school year and head into summer, many educators are beginning to process the stress they've been carrying, sometimes even without realizing it. This episode is all about reconnecting with your body as a tool for release, regulation, and resilience. We'll explore how movement can support mental health, reduce burnout, and offer a powerful pathway back to yourself. Whether you're a longtime fitness lover or someone curious about how to use movement for emotional wellness, this conversation offers insight, encouragement, and practical strategies to help you reset and recharge this summer. So before we start, Cristina, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm very excited and grateful to be here, and I'm excited to talk about this topic. It means a lot to me, and I think a lot to a lot of people, and it could be beneficial to anyone just to kind of take that time aside for yourself.
That's fun. So I introduced you as a Rumble instructor and physical therapist, but we always love to let people tell their own stories. Can you share a bit about who you are, what you do, and how you find your way into this work?
So I just actually got my doctorate in physical therapy.
Yay.
About 2 weeks ago I graduated, so very fresh. But prior to all that, it was a very long journey, so 7 years of school.
Mm-hmm.
And from high school, I've always been an athlete. I've found fitness a crucial part of my life. Then as I went into learning, I had my bachelor's in science and kinesiology, just exploring science and movement of the body. I think I got more interested, more curious about what that had to do, and always wanted fitness in my life. And then flash forward into PT school, stressful, anxious, had limited time, but I knew how important it was to move your body. That's what we learned every single day. And then I had many different outlets for exercise or for myself, but something wasn't really connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted something new, and I actually joined Rumble as a member off an Instagram ad.
Yeah.
Had no boxing background, knew nothing about it, and ever since then, the rest was history. I got addicted. I showed up every single day, and then don't know how, but I was very grateful. Some of the trainers came up to me, and they asked me if I wanted to be a trainer, and I was really excited to just tie in my PT to fitness as an industry. And that's where I got myself to where I am today.
Oh my God, that seems so exciting. Congratulations on graduating.
Thank you.
So our first proper question is, the phrase mind-body connection gets used a lot in wellness spaces, but it can mean different things to different people. What does this phrase mean to you personally?
So I actually use this phrase in my everyday routine. I say it in my classes, I say it in class, because it's very important for everyone to acknowledge and realize that everyone's body is so different.
Yeah.
So if you can stay in tune with your own mind and connecting that to your body, that can go such a long way. Prime example is like connecting with your mind, realizing you have this stress or this tension built up in your shoulders, how you feel during that day. Okay, how can I move my body in order to release any of that tension, release that stress, make myself feel better? Can I walk a little more to, that's going to help with my stomach, help me move a little more. So it's staying in tune with your mind and connecting it to moving your body, but then also delving into the emotional, the physical, the psychological aspects. So the stress, the anxiety, they all kind of come hand in hand and they help each other, but it's finding that connection for you as an individual.
Absolutely. I feel like with Muay Thai and boxing, you know, it might seem too much for some people, like especially for teachers. They're like, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, but any type of movement really helps get your body going, get your mind going, and really helps you reset yourself, you know?
100%.
So how can something like a boxing class or any intense movement support someone's mental health and emotional well-being?
Well, so in boxing or any intense movement, like you were just saying, we live every day building up this stress.
Yeah.
Whether you're a teacher, whether you're just working as an accountant, anything, what you're doing, or just you're at home, you're a mom, you carry a lot of burden on your shoulders and your body reacts to that.
Yeah.
So with the sympathetic nervous system, you're in that fight or flight, and we need to find a way to release that stress.
Absolutely.
The minute I started boxing, I didn't realize the anger I had. I didn't realize the sadness, the sadness I had. I was like, I say it to everyone I know. I've cried so many times boxing. I have gotten angry so many times. Like, I've discovered so many emotions about myself just by releasing that tension, releasing that stress, tapping into my parasympathetic nervous system now. So steering away from that fight or flight that we're continuously in, and then finding that opportunity for us to relax, to dial back down, release it, and then get back to your normal resting rate, whatever it is. So boxing, for me, that's what I found to help me release that. And it changed my life mentally, physically, emotionally, all the above.
Yeah, before I started Muay Thai, I thought I was a peaceful person, but now I really am. Like, it releases so much. Like you said, I've cried so many times, and it's not out of pain or anger, but it's like a release.
You don't even know you have it in you sometimes. And I say to everyone, I'm the same way. Outside of boxing, I am literally the kindest soul. I would never touch anybody.
Exactly.
But if you see me boxing, you would think otherwise. Because sometimes you find parts of yourself you don't know. And that's the nice thing about boxing. And it's also a mental game. Going back to that mind-body connection, you find your mind connecting to your body through punching, through all that. You're like, oh, you get an aha moment. You're like, wow, I got that. Then you get like a little appraisal. You feel better about yourself. You have the endorphins, you have the serotonin, everything kind of, the dopamine, they all play one another, and things happen that you kind of can't even control, but it will help at the end.
Absolutely. So in what ways does your background as a physical therapist shape how you show up as a fitness instructor? Do the two ever overlap in unexpected ways?
So I've actually always wanted to be a fitness instructor, primarily because of tying in the PT with it, because a lot of our roles as a physical therapist is no matter who the patient is, who they come from, what their story is, you want to return them back to what their prior level of activity was.
Yeah.
So in Rumble and just being a fitness instructor, I know these exercises. I have all ages, all populations of people who have different injuries. They have different body types, and that's normal. Everyone is human. So I can adapt what I'm teaching or give, oh, this is an advancement. This is a modification. If you have this going on, talk to me 5 minutes before class.
Yeah.
We can tailor it so that you're still finding something to target that muscle group, but doing it in a smarter, a better way so that you reduce the risk of injury. You're focusing on, I like to call it prehab. So like instead of like rehab, it's like prehab, so you don't get to that rehab point. So it's like everyone's an athlete. Like I call everyone an athlete because you are. You have to stay in tune with that. So with PT, even at the end of my class, I give an optional, and I'm not even supposed to do it sometimes. I give an optional like 10-minute cool down, and I'm always say open to everybody if you have the time, because a lot of times too, once we work out, you're going home, you don't find the time to stretch, to cool down, to ease into that body, ease into your muscle groups, get back to your resting heart rate, you kind of just go. So I'm like, okay, I have 10 minutes here. If you want to stay, we're going to stretch every muscle group we have. We're going to return our heart rate back to normal, and we're going to kind of ease into our mind, ease into our body. And a lot of people come up to me after and they tell me how much it helps them, because they go home and they don't know what to do, or they don't have the time. Once you go home, everyone has something at home. Something's happening, kids, family, work, a lot of things play in. So finding that other time aside, if I can do that as being a fitness instructor, making everyone more individual and personalized than just, oh, this is my job, this is what I have to do, teach this, okay, now I'm done. Okay, I want to actually help everyone get to their fitness goals in every way or form that I can.
I want to go back to what you said about the modifications, because it's really an individual journey for everybody. Going to the gym, it's obviously a community, but it's your journey, your goal, it's your gym. So I like that you do the modifications. I feel like it's really encouraging to people, because not everybody can do 25 sit-ups on their first day, you know?
I've had multiple members, and one member who stuck closely to me is she had gone to a different industry and was shamed because of her body, or wasn't given modifications that worked best for her body. She couldn't do what the person next to her was, and that's normal. Like, the goal is for you to get to that point, but it takes time to get there, and you have to give those modifications in order to also give members or anyone in any gym setting that kind of appraisal, so that they know that, oh, I'm still working in the way that I should be to make my body a little bit better.
I definitely can't do the same thing a 6-foot man can do. So our workouts are very different, but the modifications always make me feel good about myself and know that I can leave feeling good.
Exactly.
You know? So have you ever experienced a moment when your movement helped you heal, not just physically, but emotionally?
So I actually started Rumble because I was at the lowest point in my life. I was in a very dark place. I had lost a lot of people physically, emotionally in my life. I was starting a new journey. I was going to PT school. All my friends were starting work. We had different schedules after school. I had to study. I couldn't hang out. And I had a hard time finding time for myself. And once I found that, I went through this period that I kind of just went every single day. And I didn't speak to anyone. I held myself accountable. I scheduled it into my schedule, because there was a period of time I didn't move at all. And that's when I was in my darkest point. And I started therapy. I started Rumble. And I was like, you know what? I like the way I feel after I move. It helps me, because we carry a lot of stress all day doing what we do. And that time, no matter how much it is, as simple as 30 minutes, I always say, that is your time. That's for you, no one else. It's for your body to make you better overall. And I had lost my grandma. I had gone through a breakup. I had been having a hard time with some courses. I weighed 40 pounds heavier than I am now. I was at my lowest point in my life. And then there was one moment after months of doing that, and other people coming up to me and like praising me, and then I kind of realized, I was like, oh, I'm getting out of this. I'm working on myself. I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else, but I'm doing it for me. And that's really how I got to where I am today. I couldn't think anything else but that time frame, even though during that time frame it felt like the hardest point in my life. I was like, how am I going to get over this? How am I going to get through it? And that's how we feel sometimes. Everyone feels that way in different ways, different forms, and it's hard to see through that tunnel, through that light, especially working out. It's so scary to work out.
It's a big jump to get into it for the first time, because you're like, oh man, I gotta lift 50 pounds and I can't do that. I don't have the time. But just making that small jump, like, okay, this week I'll go for 30 minutes, and the next week I'll go for 45 minutes. And you just, but yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was really insightful and meaningful. For someone feeling disconnected from their body or maybe even intimidated by the idea of starting to move again, what's a place you suggest they begin?
I always say just scheduling time in for yourself. So kind of like it's a meeting. So whether that means, okay, I'm going to walk to work today. After work, I have to do this phone call in, check in with my family, my friend. I'm going to actually walk and go on that phone call.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that. Or if you have that lunch break or if you have that time before work, before class, putting that time aside, making it like a scheduled assignment meeting, but then finding, it doesn't have to be structured. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do an hour of this powerlifting 20-mile run, something that you just feel better moving your body. It could be in your house. It could be finding a YouTube video, doing some yoga. It could be some simple Pilates movements, exercise classes, or really steering in and trying something new, signing up for a new exercise class. But I think something that a lot of people get very stressed about, and I've been in that boat too, is like, I should be doing this. We're surrounded by social media and like hearing things through other people, like, oh, they look like that, so I should do that.
Yeah.
But everyone's body's different. The way I like look, I am very different than a lot of my friends. Like, I have a different metabolism. I have to move my body. I have to work out more after I eat something. And so it's like, it's a trial game. It's finding the thing that works for you, not just physically, but also what makes you feel good. Some people don't like high impact.
No, it's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone. My twin sister is the most unathletic human being I've met in my life, and I love her for it, and she's tried everything under the sun, and I give her so much appraisal because she puts herself out there. But I say to her, I'm like, maybe yoga is it for you. And that helps her. Something that works for me is different than the person next to you. And that's really important to hear sometimes, because a lot of people think that I should be doing everything like everyone else is doing.
I wanted to go back to what you said about like thinking of it as a meeting, because especially teachers, they always want to do something for somebody else. They always have time for somebody else. But when you see it as something for yourself, like as a meeting, like you said, it could really help a lot of people, putting this time just for you to move, to do yoga, Pilates, go on a walk, go on a run, anything.
I like the meeting, especially as teachers, because I set it up like a meeting in my calendar. On my phone, I'm like, okay, that time frame, I'm going to go on that run. That time frame, I'm going to box. That time frame, I'm going to walk because I have that phone call. And teachers always have to schedule out their weekly plan, their daily plan. They have to adjust it too. But if you have that meeting within your calendar, okay, that's the 10 minutes that I said I was going to do before class started, and I'm going to do 10 minutes and I'm going to walk around the school, or I'm going to do squats behind my desk. One of my friends, she does that sometimes as breaks. I'm going to stand up during this time. So it's like, that's your mental meeting.
Every Wednesday and Thursday after work, that's my private meeting time to go to Muay Thai. I don't make any hangout plans. Everybody knows.
Exactly.
We can't hang out that day.
I'm the same exact way.
So a lot of our members wear many hats. They're educators, caregivers, students, and community members. As someone who also seems to juggle a lot, how do you find time for movement? And what advice do you have for others trying to fit in? I feel like this goes back to what we were just talking about.
So I mean, they kind of play hand in hand with each other. Back to like what we were saying about scheduling a meeting. Sometimes it might have to be also waking up a little earlier. Like if you know in the afternoon, oh, I had plans with that friend, or I had plans to go to my kid's soccer game, or I'm staying after school to actually help that student for longer than I wanted to. That means, okay, I might have to make a little more time in the morning or make it at night. It's kind of adapting, and you're in control of what you do. No one else is going to choose it, and it's what you put into it. And the hardest part sometimes is doing that, just starting off and being like even if you sign up for a 6 a.m. workout class, you're like, wake up, you're like, I could have had another hour of sleep.
Yeah.
I have a long day ahead of me. But you do it, you sign up, you show, you put yourself first. That's your you time. And then the rest of the day unfolds. And sometimes you don't have that you time.
Yeah.
So it's like very important because teachers, educators, you juggle so much. And a lot of my friends are teachers too. They use boxing as an outlet as well. A lot of our members are teachers. And their boxing class they have the most stressful day ever. They are shaping our future leaders. Children, leaders, everything. And everything's constantly changing, and they have to adapt to it, and they have to advocate for kids around the world. So it's a lot. And at the end of the day, you're burnt out, you're stressed, especially this time of year.
Yes.
It's the end of the school year. Everyone's stressed.
Yeah.
So it's like that stress, like finding a way to release it is important, or else then you don't have it. It's all built up in yourself. And then once you're done, it's like, okay, what do I do with all this now? So if you find that time within your day, as little as it is, 10 minutes during a lunch break, that's the time that you're releasing a little bit of it.
Yeah. I think teachers always are thinking on their feet, working on their feet. So this kind of physical release, I feel like, I mean, I'm not a teacher personally, but I've gone through stressful times, and it feels good to let it out. Just don't think, you don't have to think about what you're going to cook later, what you're going to do tomorrow, what the next week holds. You just think, right now, I need to punch this bag.
Yes, exactly.
So classes like Rumble or Muay Thai can seem intense or intimidating from the outside. What would you say to someone who's curious about movement but doesn't know where or how to start?
I think something that worked for me was trying to find out a little more about it. So videos, talking to some people. Okay, I want to learn a little bit more before I actually get into that environment.
Yeah.
So I can keep that curiosity, because with the curiosity also comes courage.
Yes.
Because then that delves into, like in Rumble, we offer free intro classes. You come, it doesn't mean you have a membership, anything, and you actually have a little more one-on-one time learning the fundamental punches, learning what we have to give. And that takes a lot of courage.
Absolutely.
But with that courage, it's like you're curious about it. That means you're curious about, like, what can I do? Or, like, what can this do for me? So I think that means asking, putting yourself outside your comfort zone. Something I say to everyone in my life is, if you don't put yourself outside your comfort zone, you're not going to grow. You're not going to change.
Yes.
By doing that, it allows you to find different parts of who you are that you might not know you have. And that's very crucial in our life. So intense and intimidating classes, it might feel like that the minute you start. And I promise everyone who has ever been in a Rumble class, any class, once you're done, even if it's not for you, which it might not be sometimes, you can finish and say, I did it. I put myself outside my comfort zone. I did something new that seemed scary, and it might have felt scary sometimes throughout it. Like, I wasn't confident, and that's very normal.
Yeah.
But I made it to the end. I did it. I put myself first, and it was just about me and no one else.
Yeah. You got to check something off your bucket list.
Exactly.
But, I mean, hopefully people stick around and see that it does get better. My first Muay Thai class, I was sore for a week. I was crying. I was sweating. And I still went back.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I need to prove to myself that I can do this.
Yeah.
And I've been going back ever since.
Oh, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding. I wanted to be humbled when I started.
Yes.
I really was like,
I really was humble. It is a humbling
it
feeling.
is. And like I also like to give attention to that, because if it was easy, then everyone in the world would be doing it. But it is challenging. But after a couple times, there's that one moment where you make that connection, where there's like a flip switch, and you're like, oh, I did it. I got better, or I got that.
Yes.
I didn't have any insecurity during that punch. I really didn't even think about it. Like, I felt myself getting more powerful.
Yeah.
I felt that skill develop, and then it's like, wow, okay, I can do it. I can do these challenging, scary things, and if I can do it, maybe other people can do it too.
Yes. that strength, slowly feeling the strength build and the confidence build is such a rewarding feeling with going to these classes.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, are there any final thoughts or encouragements you'd like to leave with our listeners, especially those who might be trying to start their own practice of physical activity over the summer?
I think it's very important to give yourself a lot of grace and gratitude. Like how we've discussed a lot already, is everyone's body is so different, and some things are not meant for everybody, and that is okay. But it's not okay if you keep yourself contained in this little shell and you don't allow yourself to find the things that might work for you. Because if I didn't find Rumble, I would not be who I am today. I wouldn't have found that like addictive personality to this punching a bag, releasing this stress, like, and I'm grateful for it. But everyone has to find that time for themselves. It's a constant battle. It's you versus you. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of things in our life that we can't control, and we have a hard time reacting to it or putting ourselves first. But what you can control is what you do with your body, what you do with your day-to-day actions. And as little as that 10 minutes a day, I say 30, that will go a long way.
It really will.
It plays in with that whole mental, emotional well-being. It reduces your stress, reduces that anxiety. It could pull you out of the darkest of times. Everyone has such a different story. Behind closed doors, you have no idea what anyone's going through. And that's also something very important, because when we're put into gyms, they could be scary because you're looking at the person next to you, and it's not a competition. It might be rewarding seeing someone kind of go at their highest intensity next to you, and it might actually encourage you and push you to get to that level. But you don't have to think in the back of your mind like, oh, like I'm jealous, like I should be like that, I think poorly of myself. That's human. We have these insecurities and stuff, but finding the things that help you get to where you want to be physically and emotionally, mentally, that can help us get to that point that you're like, oh, I'm confident in who I am, both at work and outside of work. And as teachers, educators, like we were saying, like teachers spend their whole year from the beginning of the day to the end, so many things out of their control, but so many things they can control. But kids are constantly changing, constantly evolving, and you're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days, and there should be time in that day, or time even at the end of the week. I like to serve Sundays as a Sunday reset. I had a bad week last week. Okay, I'm going to put this time in for me today on Sunday, move my body, and I'm going to go into the next week even stronger. Because that's normal, you know? We have our ups and downs, but it make us who you are. And I think fitness really is something that can get everyone to the best version of themselves in any way, any form. But it's just putting yourself outside your comfort zone.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. I love everything. So thank you so much, Cristina.
Thank you.
This was amazing.
Yeah, I had such a great time, and I'm so grateful again just to be here and to speak about this. If you asked me 10 years ago, I would be on a podcast speaking about this subject. I think my younger version would probably cry. Because it just shows that everyone kind of has those battles, or they have their own things going on, but there's opportunity to grow and to put yourself first. And by becoming curious and listening and kind of exploring ways that you can get yourself better, I think it goes long term better for your own future, for your own self, and for everyone else in your life too.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Brewing Wellness Podcast, brought to you by the UFT Member Assistance Program to support the mental health and well-being of our members. If you are a UFT member, the Member Assistance Program can be reached at 212-701-9620 or by emailing mapinfo@uft.org. And once again, please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for listening.